Good morning everyone, welcome to our small footprint. My name is Nyssa, and if you're new here, we are a family of 8 who live off-grid in Australia. Now, today's video, we got the monthly food hamper, which I'm going to show you. So we have access to a service here locally. It was A4 Community Care derivative, and they've just rebranded to Aberdeen Pantry. So we have access to this service that allows us to, every 4 weeks, get a food pantry, food bank hamper is what we call it. Now these hampers are a $50 fee. We prepay the $50 to them like the week before, 10 days before is the cutoff sort of a time, and then on every 4 Saturdays we get to go and collect from Peter and Lois the hamper and whatever it is. So we pay the $50 not knowing what's going to come in the hamper, but having a general idea because we get it every 4 weeks and we get what we're given. Now we're also lucky enough to access big crates of fresh produce that we pay a gold coin donation for. Now I forget every time, but I'm remembering this time. The reason we call it a gold coin donation is because in Australia our $1 coins and $2 coins are gold coins. So generally speaking, I throw an extra $5 or $10 when I'm doing the hamper payment because we take advantage of the fruit and veg, and if they have some excesses then we'll go back and get some more and things like that, and I feel like we get well and truly above and beyond our dollar value worth there. So we pay $50 and then a donation for access to the fresh fruit and veggie bins. This month we had access to sweet potatoes, apples, cucumbers, potatoes. I think that's really it, but you'll see it when I show you in the hamper anyway. So Darryl normally takes some excess boxes if we've got boxes here, or they have reusable grocery bags, things like that, and just fills them up and puts them in the ute and brings it home, and then we sort it out once it's here. So this was good timing. Sometimes they fall at a bit of a poor timing for us because we shop every 6 weeks and the hampers are every 4 weeks. Sometimes they turn up sort of just before or just after a shopping trip, which is a little inconvenient, but this one's actually the best timing for when we get it, because I go shopping, I leave on Wednesday, it's Sunday at the moment, and I leave on Wednesday. We picked it up yesterday, so that means that it's some of the convenient stuff and some snacks and all that sort of bits and pieces that the kids and Darryl can use while I'm not here, and that makes their lives a bit easier. I generally prep meals for them anyway, but this just makes things that little bit easier. So we enjoy when it falls at this particular time rather than falling right around when we have the groceries, because then it just creates a bit more work to do that stuff as well as all the grocery stuff. As it is, we got a lot of fresh produce this month, and I'm going to have to do a bit of it over the next couple of days before I go shopping to make sure that it doesn't go bad, and that's just the way it is too. So let me show you what we got in the hamper, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to give you a really brief update on the gardens. I did do some posts on Facebook and Instagram, but for anyone who doesn't follow me there, we bought some new garden beds. I wanted to show them to you because I haven't done my Sunday chat, and I just don't really have enough to share to do a whole new video. So I'll show you what's in the hamper, and then I'll come back and I'll give you a look at what we've been doing in the garden as well. Thanks guys. Alrighty, so this month's hamper, we have 4 loaves, 3 loaves of white bread, 3 loaves of some dark rye bread. There is a big tin of baby corn, which will be nice in some stir fries. There is a couple of small jars of peanut butter, a mild butter chicken. There is a bottle of water and some wheat bix. Small tin here, unlabeled, I'm not sure what it is, probably a tin spaghetti or baked beans or something. That's what generally comes in those little tins. There is a large tin spaghetti, a couple of packets of the 2-minute noodles, some cheese, rice crackers, and some Ziploc bags, another big bag of the marshmallows, which will thrill the kids, a raspberry soft drink and a Pepsi. There is a box of cocoa and oat bluey biscuits, some sweet potato crustkits, and a 1 litre of almond milk. Some of these seeded crackers that the kids had last month as well. A small thing of chicken stock and some of the chicken stock pot flavours, which will come in handy. A kilo of the long grain white rice. A all-in-one meal replacement shake, Nutrify. There is some little tartare sauces and some little milks, a garlic and rosemary flavor boost stock, a big tin of tuna in spring water, a couple of bags of the Allen's sour lollies, and some flavor bases, a Malabar chicken curry and a chicken tikka. I haven't seen this brand before, we'll have to give them a go. Some dried spaghetti, a few packs of just the 2 crackers in 2 biscuits, sweet biscuits they are generally, in individual serves, and some muesli bars. There is 1 bag of these puffed corn snacks of some sort. We also have a 1 litre of yogurt. There is this whole split Portuguese style peri peri chicken, 2 things of turkey mince, a couple of bags of these crispy broccoli florets, which sound really nice. It seems to be some sort of a crumb on the broccoli that will bake up nicely, I reckon. Some of the individual serve meals, so there's 3 of the tuna and vegetable pasta and 3 of the chicken wings with soy glaze. So these will be good. I should be able to put these all out on a baking tray and roast them up, and we should be able to eat them easy enough. There's a ham. It's just leg ham, it's frozen. Then we got a bag of red grapes, and there's a frozen chicken here as well. Last time these ones, it was frozen raw, so I assume that one's a raw one as well. A big bag of green beans, a big bag of cucumbers, a big bag of bananas. These are very green, but we'll lay them out and they will ripen up nicely. There is a box of red apples and a bag of green apples. There was a bag with some potatoes in it, and then we also got a box of sweet potatoes here and a box of the white potatoes there as well. After we got the hamper, we got contacted because there was apparently a box of produce that we had missed picking up, and so the extra box of produce had some mandarins in it, as well as some more of the sweet potatoes, some really nice little ones, and a few other bits and pieces. So this is what the fruit and veg and everything looked like in the end. So this was the big box of cucumbers that we ended up with, and then this is all the bananas that we got here ripening, the green apples, the red apples, mandarins, sweet potatoes. There's some more sweet potatoes as well. We like to put them in these boxes to sit here because they get nicely airflow. We had problems when we were storing stuff in like plastic crates because it got so cold overnight that there would be all this moisture in the crate, which would send things moldy. We do put the apples in the fridges regularly, but at the moment it's cool enough that it's not a big deal. We also have all the little dirty potatoes that we got in the hamper. I've got them in this box here, which is a good way to keep them out of the sun. And then we have a potato box that we bought previously that has the other brushed potatoes and some of the clean ones that were left from this month's shopping haul as well. So we've got heaps of potatoes at the moment, going to have to do something with them. We will cook some of them tonight. But so that's the extra box that had the mandarins and stuff in it, as well as we got one that's been split, as well as a few extra bits and pieces, some sweet potatoes, and I think there might have been a couple of carrots or something in that as well. So that was another box that we got. Alrighty, so that was the hamper for this 4-week period. Groceries are coming next weekend, so that's cool, and then we'll have another hamper in 4 weeks as well, so we'll show you that one then. So the other thing I wanted to show you was I showed on Instagram and Facebook that we bought some garden beds. I just bought 2 of them to give a go, to have a look at how they fit in the garden and decide what we were going to do. They work out around about $95 to $100 each, so they're not cheap, but when I added up the cost of getting roofing iron and making some of our own, and I don't really want to use timber because we have issues with termites, there was a lot of backwardsing and forwardsing with all that. I think these beds are going to work. We really like them. They do take about 45 minutes to an hour to put together, and it's a lot of work, but Darryl has agreed that he thinks that they're worthwhile doing, and he's the one who puts them together for me, so he's the one who has to agree with it. So what we've done, all right, I'm just going to turn you around. All right, so what we've done, this is what the beds look like empty. and they are 3.2 meters long, 80 centimeters wide, 42 centimeters high. So what we're going to do, and what we've done, I've got one in here. This is the in-ground beds that we had done originally. So what I did was I dug back this whole garden bed, dug it all the way down till it hit clay, and it was nice and smooth. Then I put a double layer of weed matting down into the little indent. So there is a bit of an indent because we did these wood chip paths. So the wood chip paths have weed matting underneath them and then wood chips, and the garden beds went lower, like a sort of an inch lower than the paths. So I've dug it out in such a way that these beds sit that little inch underneath the paths. So the paths go up sort of, you can see they go up to the second rib in the garden beds. So I dug it out in such a way that they would slide in there. The weed matting goes up the sides of the beds so as not to allow for any sort of ingress points. We did a double layer of it. I did look at buying root barrier fabric, but the cost of shipping it just made it not worthwhile. So we're using a double layer of this. Now, we did leave a single screw, so you have a look, see there's screws all the way down the sides of the beds. We did leave the screw that you just can't see out all the way around, so that there is a drainage hole all the way around the beds, because we were thinking about the root barrier, which is not water permeable. This is permeable to a degree, but we do have 2 layers of it. So we did leave the screws, that second up screw that you can't quite see there's a hole there. We left you can see it on this one, we left the screw out and left the hole, but they are just screwed together. There is points that water can come out where all it's joined, because there's lots of joins. So these beds originally were hugelkultur beds as well, so there's layers of tree branches and stuff. This is some of the bits and pieces, tree branches and stuff underneath where the dirt is. So I dug up all the tree branches and everything that had started breaking down, because I wanted to get all the way down to the clay. And all those tree branches, I'll put a photo in here as well to show you before I put the dirt in there. All the tree branches went in here, as well as another cartload of them. I filled up the cart. We got water in here at the moment. I'll just tip that out while I see it so we don't get mosquitoes. Another cartload of sticks and branches and things like that as well, and laid it all out in the bottom of the bed. And then I put all the soil that I had dug out, which was a whole wheelbarrow full, this cart full plus a bit more, and filled the bed up. So the bed's it's not even half full, and that is all the soil from the beds that were already existing, plus all the hugelkultur sticks and stuff in there. So the plan now is to smooth this out a bit, put a layer of sugarcane and probably some manure in, and then do some lasagna style layering above that with some decent soil in it, and then we will see how we go. So I'm still looking at my options with getting soil in. There's not huge amounts of options for getting it out here. I don't want to buy bag soil. It just ends up too expensive per cubic meter for the quantity that I'm looking at, because these beds, the size of them, they only go 2 deep in the row, and then there's going to be a spot at the end that's empty, which I think I'm going to trial using some of those fabric bags with. That's another trial that I'm going to use. So I think I'll have the 2 long seal beds, a fabric round one at the end, on 4 rows. So we're looking at having 8 of these 3.2 meter beds here, which is a lot of soil that's needed. A lot of soil that's needed, even just to fill the top 20 centimeters. So we're looking at the options that we have to be able to use, to be able to get transported here. There's not huge amounts of options to be able to get them transported here for a decent price, so I'm still working on that. But we're going to have to get soil in. I might do a layer of wood chips on top of this, actually, some wood chips and some sugar cane to create drainage and stuff before this old soil, and then put the new soil on top. Still working on it anyway. So that's the plan at the moment anyway. So we've only got one situated. The other one, I need to dig out the bed before I put it in there. The other thing we're still doing is the IBC. So I've got someone who will deliver me some IBCs out here. So I'm going to get that organised, probably not this week, next week, because I'll wait until I come back from groceries and get him to deliver some IBCs, and then we'll work on cutting them down and turning them into wicking beds over the next span of time as well. So, and we're going to stick them in here with the trellising. That'll be where I'll run tomatoes and stuff, probably. Haven't really decided yet. Still working on it. Still figuring out where I'm going to put everything and how many beds I'm going to use and all that sort of stuff. But that's why I've started now, because it's only June and we don't start planning out until the end of September, generally speaking, because we get frosts through September as well generally. So we've got plenty of time. We'll get a plan in place, get the old hothouse fixed up so we can get some seeds going, get the heat mats set up so they've got power. I might look at getting a few lights as well this year to help with some of my seed starting, and we'll just take it step by step and try and figure out what's going to work best for us in that sort of time span, and hopefully just have more success than last year. That is all we're aiming for. You know, that whole progress not perfection thing, all we're aiming for is progress compared to last year's groceries. I also got a picture of Earl all drawn up and personalized, so I'll stick a little clip of that in here so that you can see Earl drawn up, and still working on all of that behind the scenes as well, of course. So we're getting there, but that was the main update. Was I just wanted to show you these garden beds for anyone who doesn't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, so that you could see the garden beds that we're working on and how we're planning to do them. We will get there in the end. So, and I'm actually thinking, someone asked me about links for the beds before, so have I shown these before? Hopefully I haven't shown you what I did with them before, and this is all new stuff. But the weeks run into each other a little bit, so we'll see. But anyway, thanks guys for checking in with me, checking on the hamper and the little update, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys.